Hello everyone, and welcome to the AI Research Roundup. I'm your host Alex, and today we're diving into a really interesting paper called TextArena. Basically, it introduces an open source collection of competitive text-based games. The main idea here is to use these games, all 57 plus of them, to train and evaluate how well large language models can act like agents, especially in social situations like negotiation or even deception, skills that typical benchmarks often miss. And speaking of the framework itself, what you're seeing here is actually the GitHub repository for TextArena. It's really great that they've made this open source. You can see the code structure on the left, and they even include examples right there in the README, showing how you can install it and start playing either offline or online. It looks pretty straightforward to get started with. And you can even see a list of some of the games included. Okay, so besides just the framework itself, the paper also shows some initial results. This figure here, it's a radar chart that gives us a look at how some of the top models, like specific versions of Claude, Qwen, and GPT-4o, compare against aggregated human performance, which they call humanity. It maps them out across 10 different soft skills. Things like, theory of mind, strategic planning, bluffing, and persuasion. It really visualizes how these models perform differently in these nuanced areas, which is exactly what TextArena aims to evaluate. Building on that overall skill profile, this next figure gives us a different view. Instead of looking at aggregated soft skills, it shows preliminary model rankings based on their true skill scores, but for a subset of specific games. You can see results here for games like Don't Say It, Poker, Tic-Tac-Toe, Snake, and Secret Mafia. And again, it ranks the models we saw before, like Claude and GPT, against that aggregated humanity baseline, but now within the context of each individual game. So we've talked about the skills and the rankings in specific games, and this figure here actually gives us a peek at what some of these game environments look like rendered visually. You can see screenshots from a whole bunch of different games. We've got Minesweeper, Coon Poker, Chess, Liar's Dice, even things like simple negotiation and debate down at the bottom. It really shows the wide range of interactions TextArena covers, from classic board games to more complex social scenarios, which is exactly what you need to test all those different skills. And to really put TextArena into perspective, this table here compares it directly against other recent benchmarks for evaluating LLMs in games. You can see it lists things like the number of environments, single player, two-player, multiplayer, and other features like gym compatibility and online evaluation. What really stands out is, TextArena has way more environments listed, 16, 47, and 11, compared to the others. And crucially, it's the only one listed here that supports all the features, like the Gym API, online evaluation, model versus model, and model versus human play, all together. It really highlights how comprehensive this platform aims to be. So yeah, seeing that comparison really highlights TextArena's scope. I think the key thing is, it gives us this rich, standardized way to test LLMs on a whole spectrum of social and strategic tasks, not just the usual stuff. This is super important for pushing AI towards more nuanced interaction and reasoning, moving beyond standard benchmarks. That's about all we have time for this week. Thanks so much for joining me on the AI Research Roundup. I'm your host, Alex.